On Wednesday, the town of Lisbon had a referendum question where residents could come and vote, and that they did. The question was to see if the town would allocate $13 million to fund a new firehouse in the town of Lisbon on town-owned property. And the question did pass by a vote of 375 to 193. On September 22nd at about 5:17 p.m., members of Plainfield Police, American Legion, and KB ambulances, as well as the Atwood Hose Fire Department, responded to the scene of a single motor vehicle crash on Putnam Road in Warrigan. Upon the investigation, officers found that a white 2008 Ford Ranger operated by 62-year-old David Berry of Central Village was traveling north on Putnam Road when the operator lost control of his car, crossed the southbound lane, and struck a utility pole, causing it to snap at its base. Berry was evaluated on scene by members of American Legion Ambulance and later transported to Plainfield Bacchus Emergency Care for what appeared to be minor injuries. The case remains under investigation. A young man found something different when he came home to his Old Lyme home on Monday at about 5:55 p.m. In his driveway, he saw a Jeep Cherokee with no license plate. It was strange because his parents didn't own a Jeep Cherokee. The juvenile called the police, and troopers out of Troop F responded to the Meeting House Lane address in Old Lyme and found something else that wasn't supposed to be there. A man with no shirt walking around the home inside. Police set up a perimeter around the house and attempted to contact the man, but didn't have any luck. Police eventually got into the house through an unlocked basement door. With the assistance of a couple of canines, they found the man, who was identified as 31-year-old Benjamin Dom of Gales Ferry. Dom was taken into custody without incident and charged with burglary, trespassing, and disorderly conduct, as well as a couple others. Dom was held on a $50,000 bond. If you're looking for a flu shot, they're having a flu shot clinic. That'll be today at Town Hall from 3 to 5 in the afternoon. And if you are also looking for COVID-19 testing sites, Plainfield Town Hall offers them on Mondays and Thursdays from 3 to 7, and QVCC in Danielson Fridays from 3 to 7, and Saturdays 8 to 12.
The 8:30 a.m. report has been brought to you by the Burns Agency. With offices in Dayville and Norwich, find out why you'll buy better at Burns.
Here's a look at your local weather forecast on SNSN. There's some isolated showers coming our way today and maybe even a thunderstorm sometime after noon. Mostly cloudy skies otherwise, with temperatures around 77 degrees. It could get a little windy today as winds will be coming from the south 5 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as almost 30 miles per hour. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms continue until about 2 a.m. Some of the storms again could produce some pretty gusty winds, temps around 70, and more rain for Friday with temperatures right around 74.
There are two types of traffic control devices that require drivers to come to a complete stop before proceeding forward: red lights and stop signs. According to statistics published by the National Highways Traffic Safety Administration, an average of 2 people die each day in the United States in automobile collisions caused by someone running a red light, and over 120,000 are injured. 45% of all crashes occur at intersections where someone often has a stop sign or red light and fails to stop and or yield the right of way after stopping. When the driver fails to stop for a traffic control device, the results can be deadly, particularly if they are rushing to beat a yellow light. Failing to stop constitutes negligence on the part of the vehicle operator.
The latest news and weather. SNSN.
And good morning. Welcome to the show. It is 8:30 something. I don't know. It's Wednesday. No, it's not. See, damn it, Jim. You got me thinking it's Wednesday. It's Thursday. See, Jim Barney walked in this morning and goes, "It's Wednesday, isn't it?" Nope. So now here I am thinking it's Wednesday. Damn it, Jim.
See, you're easily influenced.
Huh?
You're easily influenced.
I guess so. I don't know. But it is Thursday, right?
I believe it is.
Well, I think
Just to make
maybe,
sure.
maybe we really better verify.
My phone and watch tell me it is. If not, I'm late for work. So,
Maybe we've time traveled.
Yeah, Thursday. I don't have anything on my schedule. Unbelievable.
not yet.
Yeah.
So big in the news. Yesterday, the town of Lisbon had a referendum vote where they wanted to see if the residents would approve $13 million for a new firehouse on right on Newent Road,
Right in the back parking lot.
right over by the school and in that area over there, and almost 2-to-1 vote, overwhelmingly yes.
That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they did a good job advertising it too. That was.
well, they answered a lot of questions. They had a lot of firefighters that were
They were out there pushing it. Yeah.
at the fire department itself, which is far enough away from the polls.
Mhm.
So if people had questions or whatever, they could go over and they could ask, to inform themselves. So we had the former fire chief in from Lisbon yesterday, and
Yeah. Mark's a good guy.
and
He was actually very active in helping us rescue that
Was
guy
he?
down under that boulder next to the mill.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Did he lose his leg during that?
He didn't lose it. He got very sick from it. I could put it that way.
Okay.
And he was under the rock for 2 hours, and Mark was down there helping. He was on his chest, helping dig the guy out.
Was it a homeless guy?
No, he was from Ledger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
What was he doing? Look, I forget what they call it. Some big name for looking for old stuff.
Geocaching?
Wasn't geocaching, but on the same plane as geocaching. And he was looking artifacts. He was looking for artifacts.
Oh, okay.
Down by the river,
Got it.
and accidentally dug out this big boulder that landed on top of him.
Wow. Thanks. So so Mark was here yesterday, and he gave us a lot of information on the referendum question, and Josh, who was the assistant fire chief now, put up a whole bunch of information as far as like where the mill rate's going to go over the next 20 years, something like that. So 2-to-1, 397 to 130.
Yeah, 193 or something like that.
So a little more than 2-to-1 was the vote. So the question is do you think now one of the things Mark said yesterday is that there are going to be bunks in the new firehouse. Now they had been advertising for a while and for some part-time paid firefighters in Lisbon.
Which
now
they do have.
Which they do have. So the question is with them progressing into that form, will that happen with, or do you think maybe smaller municipalities like Lisbon, like a Griswold or a Plainfield or a Voluntown, will eventually go to a paid force?
I don't think they go 100%, but believe it or not, Voluntown has part-time staff already.
They do. Okay.
Yeah, during the day. Lisbon has 2 paid. They also have EMS crews during the day
that are paid. Yeah. Okay.
I think Canterbury does.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Okay. Now you're a member of the Jewett City Fire Department,
Yeah.
so I mean you would have better information about it than I would. So,
Well, I think one of the biggest holdbacks are, and I'll throw it out there, I'm not speaking on behalf of Jewett City Fire Department or Health and Safety Committee. Speaking on behalf of Rich Waslick. So my belief is I think you're going to see every department eventually having at least minimum part-time, or my also recommendation would be a stipend for having members who are off or wherever sitting at the firehouse waiting to respond to a call.
Doesn't the Jewett City Fire Department already offer stipends to their members?
They're a stipend. I wouldn't call them any reason to be sitting at the firehouse all day kind of stipend when you have other stuff to do. I'm talking about
some sort of remuneration for that.
Yeah, and
I got to agree with you, Rich,
Yeah.
because I mean, I've pushed. Look, to bring
Yeah.
on one full-time fireman is going to cost us what? Well over $100,000.
Probably more.
Yeah,
And that's with benefits and
150, 200
taxes. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
per guy.
rather than do that, let's incentivize these guys with something more than 20 cents an hour for hanging around or whatever. You know, give them some decent pay to be available. I mean, it's going to save a heck of a lot of money if we do that, as opposed to going to full-time firefighters.
And the problem is also, well, we talked about it a little bit in a different way. The training that has to take place now, to me, it's a little overblown.
okay.
Like, there's ways of training volunteer firefighters without making them go to 3 nights a week or on a weekend for firefighter 1, and then it's 200, it's almost 300 something hours at least to become an EMT.
Mhm.
So, like, one class I did myself, I tried to break it down, make it easier for the people, and it was 1 night a week, and once in a while on the weekend you had to spend half a day or a day. But it was a 6-month class, at least. And if you're doing a 3-month class, you're going 2 nights a week, 1 or 2 days on the weekend, working a full-time job. You have kids.
Yeah.
And hey, by the way, you still have to respond to all these calls.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get your stipend, there's minimal calls you have to make, and there's
20%
different levels.
20%, I believe it is.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's 20%. I don't really keep track because I didn't do it to get a stipend, but
yeah, you got to do it for the love of
right. When I started doing this in around '94, you didn't get a stipend, you didn't get anything. You got a hey, thanks, come back to the hot station, we'll have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there were also, if 2 calls a day was a busy day. Busiest day I've had here in Jewett City is 10 calls, probably at least. And
now that includes EMT runs.
yeah, I mean, honestly, 85% of fire department calls now are EMS.
Yeah.
We do R1, which means we don't transport to the hospital, which honestly I probably would not be a part of anymore. Because I did that in Oakdale, I did that in Montville, Mystic, and stuff, and it was 1 ambulance call could take up to over 2 hours, almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
and you can't do that anymore.
So Tim makes a comment and says, if you can't afford to pay them, give them a tax break. Now, I've heard that before.
A lot of towns do that.
I've promoted that aspect of it too. Okay. And also promoted.
Absolutely.
This is digressing slightly, but I don't mean to go very far with it. Same thing for the elderly that can't afford the damn taxes in their property. Okay. You give them a break. And then when they take and sell or transfer the property, you recover that money. I mean, one of the programs I've suggested was to float a bond issue, and you could do the same thing with the fire department. You float a bond issue, okay, and then as people pay back that keeps that bond issue going. I mean, I've oversimplified it the way I've just stated it, but
I think one of the problems you run into with firefighting are the regulations now. They have what's called like the 2 in 2 out rule. If there's if there's a house burning, you have to have a minimum of 4 firefighters on scene before someone's allowed to enter the house to put the fire out.
Okay.
So one of the problems you run into, where are these 4 firefighters?
So that's 2 in, 2
from?
out, right?
Yeah. So where are these firefighters coming from? Yeah. So Voluntown has a part-time paid staff during the day. A lot of them are.
How many people do they have? Do you know? How many part-timers?
Two,
Okay.
I believe.
Because Lisbon has 2 as well.
2 firefighters and then 2 EMTs only, I believe. I think it's one or the other. Last I knew. Maybe if it's changed, I hope someone says something. But that's last I knew. But Voluntown also has the ambulance. So if the ambulance is out, the firefighters are tied up now if the volunteers aren't taking the ambulance. So you have a fire, say, Jewett City or Griswold. Most people are at work. So you have a fire, 2 firefighters show up. We're not allowed to go in the building unless someone's life is imminently in danger. Like you have to make, there's a known rescue that has to be made. That throws the 2 in 2 out the window.
Okay, I was going to say that rule.
Yeah, if there's someone's outside and we ask, hey, is anybody in the building? Yeah, my kid or my wife's in there. Not ex-wife, no. But
whoops.
No, but someone's in the house. You need to go rescue them. Okay, doesn't matter. We can have 1 person there. They're going to try and make the rescue.
Yeah.
So, but that happens for few in between, was confirmed. So how long are you going to wait? That's where a lot of the, so now you start doing what we call a fight you don't hide from the yard. But say like there's not an ambulance in town because Americans tied up.
Yep.
We have to now call Lisbon. So Lisbon has to respond with the ambulance. So luckily they have a paid staff on during the day, because if they don't, you run the chance of maybe not getting an ambulance for a longer period of time during the day. So that's where that paid staff comes in. Because in Connecticut, you have 20 minutes is considered a good time to respond, at least for a medical call. So, but your brain starts going. Your brain starts going dead in 3 minutes.
Exactly. Okay.
So
you got 5 or 6 minutes, and you don't have to worry about it. Really.
Right. So this is where a lot of this argument starts to come in. Is it worth having the paid staff? Is it worth giving the volunteers an extra stipend? Incentivize them to volunteer. Because let's be honest, people, one, can't volunteer as much, and two, the generation today growing up, they don't volunteer.
I absolutely agree with the stipend issue, and I think we should double it or triple it or maybe even quadruple it. I'm not sure.
What is the stipend, or can you not say?
It's like there's no one answer, honestly.
Yeah.
It depends on how many calls you've done, what your
You max it
certifications
out.
are.
You max it out.
Yeah.
And what is it if you max it out?
1,500 for a year.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know the number anymore. But
Yeah.
I was going to guess $2,000 maximum. So
I think
1,500.
I don't know if I get the max, honestly. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying if somebody went ahead and maxed it out,
Well,
how much would they get?
I don't know. I think the formula is something like, hey, this is how much you guys are given a year for a stipend. Okay, well, what are the top? Who hit 20%? Now they're going to average it out based on. So I don't think you're ever going to get one specific number.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all going to be performance based.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, performance based,
attendance,
certification,
it's
days.
attendance. Yeah.
Well, it's attendance at trainings and fires, and then it's training attendance at
meetings.
Yeah, meetings, and then there's what are your certifications, and it's not just. I don't know, honestly.
It's insignificant
Yeah.
for the time you have to put.
It's almost like, hey, thanks, I can pay my gas card.
Yeah.
But so there is. I'm sorry, there is no real one. But honestly, with answer your question even more, I don't think it's going to be that long down the road before almost every fire department has part-time at least, or they're going to have to raise the incentives for getting volunteers. But then you got to look at what are you going to get for volunteers? We've been pushing to get volunteers for a few years now.
Yeah.
And people have only been able to get part-time staff in their station. So,
right.
And honestly, get paid to wait for a call. But we can do that with a volunteer if you pay them the incentive to be at the station during the day, because that's when you have the hardest time.
Yeah.
People are at work.
I mean, yeah, and if you got people who are working evening shifts, they might be perfectly happy to come down to the station because there's things they could do of their own,
like like
education or whatever.
Like myself, I work rotating shifts. Sometimes myself and the chief are around during the day because he has a shop in town. So we're the biggest daytime responders, for the most part.
So it goes back to, I'm going to go back to the question.
Yeah.
Does Jewett City or does Griswold go to part-time or even a full-time staff?
I don't think financially the town would want to do it.
I mean, you look at trying to get a resident
until their house is burning.
I don't think that would even do it, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
What if there's nobody to respond?
Honestly,
what do you do then?
Well, in answer to your first question you just asked, everybody thinks it's not going to be my house.
Right.
Okay. It's going to be somebody else's house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one reason. But look at they've tried to get a state trooper in the town for, I think they've made 3 or 4 efforts to that, and it's totally gotten voted down. All right. Now, I would rather have if we we're going to have one or the other, I'd rather have a full-time paid fire person. Okay. I mean, how, and I'm not knocking the police. I get family members of the police and friends of the police. Okay. I support the police 100%. My uncle was a police officer for 40 years.
Well, let me ask you a question, Jim, before we get into that.
Yeah.
And this kind of like, would you pay a firefighter or another, or resident trooper? Firefighter can put out a fire.
Yeah.
Troopers, do they, honestly, no disrespect, but do they stop crime? or are they
No.
reacting to crime when it happens?
That's
Believe
it.
it-
They react.
Yeah, believe it or not, there's a court ruling, Supreme Court ruling out there that they are not there to protect you.
Okay.
They are there to
Yeah, you
pick
you-
up
you-
the pieces.
Yeah, you can't sue them because they didn't
Right.
they didn't protect you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. There is a
Mhm.
Supreme Court case.
So that I guess that's the question.
So
It's like,
I'll go back a little bit in history with you.
okay.
Town of Montville, 1970s or 80s. They didn't get their paid
You want
staff.
some mood music for this?
Sure.
See what they can do here. Go ahead.
There was a fire in the town of Montville around 163 and 32. This town back then did not have paid staff. They only had 100% volunteer. There was a fire and one of the family members died because they didn't get the ladder truck out. And one, they didn't have a ladder truck, but they didn't get the ladder truck out because there was no paid staff and only the volunteers could show up with what they had. So the town turned around after a lawsuit and they ended up providing paid staff coverage, at least one or two for that time period. Now they're up to 8, I believe,
Okay.
8 or 10.
Yeah.
But the lawsuit wasn't. They didn't get paid for that lawsuit. I mean, they didn't win that lawsuit.
That I don't know.
Okay,
I think they
would
settled.
doubt
I
it.
imagine they settled or something, but in any case, that's what brought about. Like, nothing positive ever happens unless someone dies. That's what one of the rules are in public safety.
Well, in that case,
You can't hear. You're talking over the music. That's why we tell people, please wear headphones when attending.
well, sometimes there's one there, and sometimes there isn't.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things I think you're going to see are
Yeah.
the town's going to have to work on providing a more incentive, or they're going to have to work on thinking about in the future down the road, how are we going to provide this coverage at some point?
Yep.
All right.
One of the other issues I think you're going to also see are mutual aid coverages in the area.
Mhm.
One of the things I'm the chairman for the ESF 9 committee for Eastern Connecticut, which is a search and rescue
What's
type
ESF?
emergency service function. It's a national function of FEMA, and it goes down from national to state to region.
Okay.
And I'm co-chairman of the ESF 9, which is search and rescue. So we're working on creating a regional special operations team, we call it.
Okay.
So what happens is someone gets injured or gets into some type of situation where they need a technical rescue. They ask for, we call it JERSA or ESF 9, and they contact whoever the duty officer is on at the time, and then we call the dispatch centers and say, hey, dispatch these units. You could get people from Yannick, you get people from Mystic, you get people from North Stonington, East Killingly, Putnam, responding to this one incident to assist with what's going
Can you
on.
kick that door shut, Jim, please?
So one of the big things that does is it takes these
Thank you.
resources that no individual town or department is able to afford or provide, and it takes those resources, which we have an abundance of throughout Eastern Connecticut,
Mhm.
and it brings those resources to that one incident to assist with it, including personnel.
When you're talking about resources, I mean, personnel are obviously a part of.
Mhm.
What other kind of resources are you referring
All the
to?
technical, the rope rescue equipment, or the heavy rescue equipment, the confined space trench rescue, high angle, low angle, stuff like that. So that's also something that we could look at starting going into a county type of resource system for fires and emergencies and stuff.
Well, and
They do it in other states.
Yeah, I've suggested that in public works.
Mhm.
Okay, every town doesn't need a street sweeper.
Mhm.
Every town doesn't need a catch basin cleaner. Okay,
Well, they do that with animal control in this area.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a, what do they call it? The SCOG or
There's
NECOG,
there's
animal control
NECOG,
officer. Yeah.
NECOG, yeah.
Where down where I'm from originally, Southern Connecticut, there's one for every single town.
Well, we had one here at a point.
Right. And how busy? What can they also be doing? That's so those resources can be distributed throughout the whole
Right.
county versus one little tiny
Yeah, but
place.
see, in the Northeast, I mean, I've traveled around the country extensively, okay, and it's all different when you get out of the Northeast.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Whole
county government is the big thing when
Yeah.
you get out of the Northeast. Here, we all want our own little fiefdom.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I can't participate with them because I got to have my own.
And honestly, I think as the younger firefighters and EMS people go up, the younger ones are coming up, they're starting to see more of how that's able to benefit versus keeping this my own little kingdom. And,
Yeah.
So we don't know. We don't know if Griswold, we'll go that way. That was the question that we had put in this morning.
Yeah,
We've gone about 25 different directions.
Well, honestly, it's 25 different directions, but they're all within the same roadmap.
The same thing,
because all those questions have to be answered. Because that's one of the biggest problems. They have committees that get together to talk about this, and anything that you need to go away, you send to a committee of a subcommittee of that subcommittee. So
and then it gets bogged down for 6 years.
Right, and then you bring in all these people to discuss it. No one can get on the same page. They all get pissed off, walk out of the room, huffing and puffing, and nothing ever gets solved. So that's what one of the biggest issues are with something like.
So what has to happen at this point if Griswold was to propose or Jewett City was to propose having some sort of paid staff?
I think they'd have to have I hate to say it.
It has to be a referendum, town meeting.
One referendum, a committee to come up with what the ordinance is going to be, which I think the ordinance committee could come up with that. I could be wrong, but and then
I'm on the ordinance committee.
Okay, so they would have to work on create the ordinance, correct?
And we got dozens, if not hundreds, of ordinances that are never enforced.
Right.
Okay. And one of my theories is if we're not going to enforce it, get it off.
Yeah,
the
don't
books.
have it. Yeah, because you can't volunteer. You can't. Oh, I'm enforcing on you or not enforcing on you.
And I've been a real pain in the A on that recently.
But one of
pain in the A.
One of the biggest things you're gonna have to work out is how are those paid staff going to function under the current command system within the fire department?
You're gonna have the mixed.
You have a mixed breed, and which honestly causes sometimes some hate and discontent, and you lose more volunteers that way. So
because the volunteers said, "Hey, I'm going out here and I'm getting $1 an hour, and these guys are getting $40 an hour in benefits."
Yeah.
So why am I going to volunteer?
So Ryan says kind of what we talked about earlier. He says with the majority of calls being EMS, which you had said, and having a paid ambulance in town, I think it would be a while before paid fire staff would happen. And he said when it's not in Norwich.
What's the ambulance?
Laughing emoji.
Yes.
I mean, one of the things is to remove largely the EMS service from the fire department.
Which you can't, because that's one of the functions under the state rules that they have to provide that function.
Well, the rules can be changed. And
they have
them
to
all the time.
You'd have to change the state statutes. That's what you have to change.
There's
but
a lot of those that should be changed too.
Yeah, the R1s in this area, honestly, we don't go to as many as we used to because they're only going on what are called ALS, advanced life support requirements,
instead of BLS,
which are a lot of times BS. But yeah,
ouch.
Which is why we wouldn't go. The patient walks out to the ambulance, like we had one the other day. Patient walks out to the bus, barely got out of my Jeep. All right, yeah, we're not. No reason for us to be here.
All right, so that's the conversation for today. We're gonna hit news in just right now, as a matter of fact. It is news time right here on SNSN, and we have Lisa and Heather coming in from Crystal Visions in just a couple of moments for what we always call Psychic Thursday. And if you have any questions, it's always a blast with Lisa and Heather. Heather's new to the show. She was here yesterday, last week, and was a lot of fun. Totally different dynamic to the show. So if you like psychic stuff and psychic fun, keep it right here on SNSN.
The flagship for Griswold High School sports and your home for local news and weather.
Broadcasting from Main Street in the borough of Jewett City.
The Streaming News and Sports Network, SNSN.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jeremy House. U.S. officials say many of the thousands of Haitian migrants camped in the small Texas border town of Del Rio are being released in the U.S. with notices to appear in immigration court or to an immigration office. Meanwhile, a U.S. official says there are 7 daily flights to Haiti taking place. President Biden has been meeting with bickering Democrats trying to salvage his economic agenda.
With key votes coming up on his economic agenda, the president is trying to unite a divided caucus. The president's legislative priorities are at risk because of sharp disagreements among Democratic lawmakers. Liberals say they won't support a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure deal unless it's coupled with a $3.5 trillion tax and spend package. But moderate Democrats say that price tag is too high. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Schools have welcomed students back to classrooms, but face a new challenge, a shortage of teachers and staff, the likes of which some districts say they've never seen. One school official in California calls it, quote, the most acute shortage of labor he's ever experienced. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says the Fed is taking a fresh and comprehensive look at its rules surrounding its officials' financial holdings after recent trading disclosures of two regional bank presidents raised ethics questions.
We need to make changes, and we're going to do that as a consequence of this. This will be a thoroughgoing and comprehensive review. We're going to gather all the facts and look at ways to further tighten our rules and standards.
The Fed has moved up the timetable for a potential rate hike to 2022 from 2023. On Wall Street, Dow futures are ahead by 132 points. NASDAQ futures are up by 78. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For a free quote, call 800-523-3771. That's 800-523-3771. 800-523-3771. Or go to selectquote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, insurance company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Lawsuits against Ohio State University over sex abuse by a doctor are dismissed.
A federal judge has dismissed some of the remaining lawsuits filed against Ohio State University over its failure to stop decades of sexual abuse by now deceased teen doctor Richard Strauss. U.S. District Judge Michael Watson said while it's undisputable Strauss abused hundreds of young men, he agreed with Ohio State's argument that the legal window for claims had passed. Roughly 400 men and one woman had sued the university since 2018 over its failure to stop Strauss, despite concerns they say were raised with school officials as early as the 1970s. I'm Mike Gracia.
The head of the UN Food Agency says 16 million people in Yemen are marching towards starvation and more funding is needed. David Beasley says the World Food Program will have to cut its rations to feed millions of people in the war-torn nation. News and analysis at townhall.com. A day after taking the job, Florida's newly appointed Surgeon General signed new coronavirus rules.
Governor Ron DeSantis appointed Dr. Joseph Ladapo. He says the new rules allow parents to decide whether their children should quarantine or stay in school after being exposed to someone who has tested positive.
Quarantining healthy students is incredibly damaging for their educational advancement. It's also incredibly disruptive for families.
The CDC recommends a student should quarantine for 14 days if they are unvaccinated. It can be shortened to 7 days by testing negative. Unchanged are rules allowing schools in Florida to adopt mask mandates as long as students can opt out. I'm Ed Donahue.
The inequity of COVID-19 vaccine distribution will come into sharper focus as many of the African countries whose populations have little access to shots will speak at the UN's annual meeting. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Your news and information source, SNSN. The 9 a.m. report on the streaming news and sports network is being brought to you by Charlene's Diner, 37 Main Street, Jewett City. Family owned for almost 40 years. Order what you want, eat what you get. That's Charlene's Diner.
I love working here because of the people, and I get to work with my family every day.
Come to Charlene's Diner for the best breakfast you've ever had.
That was Brittany and Matt from Charlene's Diner on Main Street in Jewett City. There are only a few things that have been able to stand the test of time in Jewett City, and one of them just happens to be Charlene's Diner, who just celebrated their 40th anniversary in business. How do you stay in business that long in a small town like Jewett City? It's a simple recipe, really great food and friendly service Yes, and of course, family. You'll feel like family too because you'll always be greeted with a smile that makes you feel like you're right at home. Stop by for breakfast or lunch 7 days a week. If you don't have any time, well, that's no problem. Order ahead and your food will be waiting for you when you walk into Charlene's door. You can find Charlene's Diner on Facebook too. Stop in and join the family for breakfast or lunch today.
I'm Charlene. Come to Charlene's Diner and order what you want and eat what you get.
This is a news update from the Streaming News and Sports Programming Network, SNSN. On Wednesday, the town of Lisbon had a referendum question where residents could come and vote, and that they did. The question was to see if the town would allocate $13 million to fund a new firehouse in the town of Lisbon on town-owned property. And the question did pass by a vote of 375 to 193. On September 22nd at about 5:17 p.m., members of Plainfield Police, American Legion, and KB ambulances, as well as the Atwood Hose Fire Department, responded to the scene of a single motor vehicle crash on Putnam Road in Warrigan. Upon the investigation, officers found that a white 2008 Ford Ranger operated by 62-year-old David Berry of Central Village was traveling north on Putnam Road when the operator lost control of his car, crossed the southbound lane, and struck a utility pole, causing it to snap at its base. Berry was evaluated on scene by members of American Legion Ambulance and later transported to Plainfield Bacchus Emergency Care for what appeared to be minor injuries. The case remains under investigation. A young man found something different when he came home to his Old Lyme home on Monday at about 5:55 p.m. In his driveway, he saw a Jeep Cherokee with no license plate. It was strange because his parents didn't own a Jeep Cherokee. The juvenile called the police, and troopers out of Troop F responded to the Meeting House Lane address in Old Lyme and found something else that wasn't supposed to be there. A man with no shirt walking around the home inside. Police set up a perimeter around the house and attempted to contact the man, but didn't have any luck. Police eventually got into the house through an unlocked basement door. With the assistance of a couple of canines, they found the man, who was identified as 31-year-old Benjamin Dom of Gales Ferry. Dom was taken into custody without incident and charged with burglary, trespassing, and disorderly conduct, as well as a couple others. Dom was held on a $50,000 bond. If you're looking for a flu shot, they're having a flu shot clinic. That'll be today at Town Hall from 3 to 5 in the afternoon. And if you are also looking for COVID-19 testing sites, Plainfield Town Hall offers them on Mondays and Thursdays from 3 to 7, and QVCC in Danielson Fridays from 3 to 7, and Saturdays 8 to 12.
The 9 a.m. report on SNSN has been brought to you by Charlene's Diner, 37 Main Street, Jewett City. Family owned for almost 40 years. Order what you want. Eat what you get. That's Charlene's Diner.
Here's a look at your local weather forecast on SNSN. There's some isolated showers coming our way today and maybe even a thunderstorm sometime after noon. Mostly cloudy skies otherwise with temperatures around 77 degrees. It could get a little windy today as winds will be coming from the south 5 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as almost 30 miles per hour. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms continue until about 2 a.m. Some of the storms again could produce some pretty gusty winds, temps around 70, and more rain for Friday with temperatures right around 74.
SNSN, your local news leader.
All right, good morning. Well, we had some interesting conversation last hour about fire departments, and we have our own resident fire marshal Bill right here, Rich Waslick, who has joined us. And it was a good conversation with Jim Barney. And once again, Lisbon did go ahead and approve the vote to put in a new firehouse at $13 million.
That's really not a lot of money for a fire department these days. So they did pretty good. Hope that it works out and stays that much. But
yeah, well, they were talking about how they'd already priced it out
Mhm.
with
extra expenses, like we
expenses,
should
yeah.
do in the future. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're moving on. It is now Psychic Thursday. Let's put out some fires that way. What the hell is that? How did that start? Let's not do that.
I was bebopping.
You creeper. Every time that happens, it's because of you.
Probably.
Music just kind of starts.
Mm-hmm.
Creeper.
Probably.
Makes me think of Scooby-Doo.
Creeper.
Creeper. It's the creeper.
Let's ask her. All right. So, hey, Lisa. How are you?
I'm okay.
Hi, Heather. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
You got the right shirt on today, Lisa. That's good.
Gotta. Come on, guys.
Did they win?
Keep going. Yes,
They did 12-5 last night.
Oh,
It's like,
that
what,
means
6
my
or 7
grandkids
in a
get to
row?
eat free at $9.99.
Oh, that's right.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
right.
Bingo.
Last few days, actually, they swept the
Well,
bets.
they got rid of the turkey tips, so I'm not.
Yeah.
They got rid of turkey tips, so I really haven't eaten it. Really?
Yeah. Bubble tea.
And you can't get the pot pie either.
Really?
It's not available right now, which is crazy.
COVID.
They blame everything on COVID. I'm like so tired of listening about COVID.
You know what? I don't think there's a shortage of turkey. I don't think there's a shortage
There's
of
a lot
chicken.
of turkeys out there.
No, you know what it is? Yeah. there's a shortage of people packing it.
Yeah. Because people don't want to work.
Uh-huh.
It's ridiculous.
That's very true. And then so when people show these videos of there's nothing on the trucks, how are you going to get your goods if you can't get them on the truck?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, it's because nobody's packaging the stuff. That's why.
Yep.
Oh, God. So some exciting news from Crystal Visions. We understand.
If I tell you, I have to kill you. If I tell you on air.
I'm already dead inside.
So. But yes, we found our new location where we're gonna move Crystal Visions to. So.
Is it okay to say where?
I can.
Yeah, I don't care. It's up to you.
We're going to 40 Railroad Ave in Plainfield. So everything is still like transitioning and stuff
But
like
it's
that.
a done deal,
So-
right? You signed the lease, right?
Yeah, I signed a 5-year lease.
All right, 5-year lease,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So bye-bye, slumlord.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty impressed because I went there to bring some cleaning supplies last night and they had already replaced ceiling tiles that I had an issue with. And they were like already replaced
Right
last
on.
night. So I was like, that's crazy. Like at least they're, making it pretty. So
That's very good. I got a call. We're doing a ball game tonight, and of course, I get a phone call.
doesn't he like give me shit when my phone is ringing when we're on? Yeah.
No.
He did it to you. Yeah, he did it to you the last week,
Is that
right?
the one telling you it's not going to rain tonight?
Huh?
That telling you it's not going to rain?
Yeah, exactly.
It's my house.
That's why you.
My house!
That's why you become a parent.
See, he just said it's my house. You hear him? My house.
Oh yes, Kay, my wife's daughter is going to be very upset you're moving to Plainfield. Then we're going to have to make her walk to Plainfield.
And that's the sad part when you
I didn't want to move.
No, I know you didn't want to
I
move.
hate moving.
And you were doing well there. You were building, your business year over year. And now all of a sudden you got to go because the landlord doesn't want to.
Yeah, the building's falling apart, and I keep hearing, "Oh, October." Yeah, it's not happening. So,
Well, October's a little too late, isn't it?
yeah, because I've been hearing, and then for them to say, "I never said that the roof was leaking, or this was a problem, or that was a problem." So,
Yeah, blah blah blah.
yep.
Blah blah blah. It's never their fault. It's never their fault. So Heather, how are you?
I'm good.
You have a lot of rain and stuff coming in your house.
In my house?
Yeah.
No, I have a roof, so usually, keeps it away. So no, I do not have rain coming in my house.
A
Thankfully.
roof. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, no. But I'm about done with this humidity. I got to tell you, my
Yeah.
hair says no more. I'm done.
Are you getting the frizzy?
I'm so done. Yes.
Heather
I'm not
does
a
not
summer.
like heat
I'm
at
not
all.
a summer fan. Yes. No, I love fall. So did put out some fall
And
stuff
winter.
yesterday, feeling the fall vibes, but not feeling.
Well,
the
yeah,
fall weather
because
yet.
yesterday was May Bond, so you have to go out and get your first pumpkin of the year.
I did not get my pumpkin.
Well,
I got my
speaking of which,
mom's.
did you see that picture I had on Facebook?
No.
With the Christmas stuff out
as
already?
much as people think.
Oh yeah,
I do not spend a lot of time on Facebook.
We don't get our holiday.
But it's like Lisa saying, she likes to wear her Halloween stuff. It's too early for me, but hey, you know what? It makes her happy. I don't care. What's that thing that it costs nothing this day?
Yeah.
Mind your business and stay in your lane.
It costs a
I'd
lot of
wear
money.
this stuff all year round if people
It costs
didn't
a
look
lot
at
of
me
money to
funny.
make me mind my own business.
Does it? Really?
Well, yeah, you gotta,
Yeah.
pad the pocket.
Yeah. Just stay out of it, will you? But yeah, no, I always think we used to say to my daughter, like, if it was too early to hear Christmas songs, the Christmas police are going to come. It's not time. But then Michael Bublé came around, and so it doesn't matter. It's okay. Anytime it's Christmas time, as soon as you hear Michael Bublé, that's true. My daughter
new
calls-
standard
I
now?
love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
My daughter calls him the bubble guy.
Oh,
Bubble guy. She
We
never
need
could say his
something
name.
because they don't want him to be known as the beat my wife guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Michael Bublé's not going to be my wife guy. What?
You didn't hear about that?
Michael Bublé?
Yeah, he got brought up on like charges of.
Oh, I
like
don't believe him.
Just
I
like
don't
you're really
believe
gonna
him.
burst her bubble right now.
I love Michael
All right.
Jackson too. I don't care what you say. So, he did nothing wrong ever.
Michael Bublé.
I bet his ex-wife said that too.
Wow. Domestic violence.
Oh,
He's a lunatic.
Domestic violence and stars. There's probably going to be a long list.
Oh, but his wife defends him after getting hit with an elbow video.
Bingo.
Bam!
It was an elbow video. So
It's
not video
okay.
that you saw it.
I love my man. He's okay. He's got millions. I stay right here. Honey, you can elbow me right wherever you want to. Right there in the cheekbone. That's got to be worth a couple $100,000.
oh, good lord.
Phone's going to start going off the hook.
This was last year. Michael Bublé is being criticized for his behavior toward his wife, Louisiana, during a recent Instagram live stream. Man, he belted her. Like, bah! That's okay.
Purpose? My goodness. I still don't
You can just go ahead.
It
and
was
hit-
an accident.
we
He
go.
went and
See?
stretched like
See?
that.
Yeah.
He's stretching out his shoulder.
Yeah, every time he does that, she brings out the iPad, puts the square on there, and stripes his card.
right?
Thank you.
Well, you know
Oh my
what?
God.
Again, if Halloween makes you happy, go
Yeah.
for it. If Christmas makes you happy, go for it.
No,
Get
Christmas
your
doesn't
pumpkin.
make me.
Why? What is
Chris doesn't make you happy. Why?
Why? Honestly, I think it's because it's like 6 months long now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again, just be like, all right, I'm going into
Hey,
Target
it's July. Valentine's Day's coming soon. Let's put the Valentine's Day stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does it bother you so much?
But I love Christmas.
Because I want to enjoy one thing at a time.
Exactly one holiday at a time. Thank you.
Because I got to look at it.
You don't have to.
No, I do. Because every time you
It's
go to the store,
everywhere.
every time you go to the store and I'm going to pick
everywhere.
up my Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, well, I don't know, Leprechaun Day is coming or something's coming soon.
Yep, it's
or this is
everywhere.
coming that
All
soon.
right.
Or,
I think you let it.
I enjoy one holiday at a time. And honestly, I think Christmas is too commercialized now.
It's been
Because
commercialized for
people make it
years.
That way. You don't have to make it that way.
We don't
Keep-
have a choice.
Yes, you do have a
Walmart
choice. You
tells me
always
I
a
have to go in
choice.
there
You
and
always
see
have-
everything.
Well, I
Stop.
choose not to go to Walmart, so I don't notice.
Where you
any of
go?
that Stuff. I go to Target. Thank you.
Target's just as bad.
No,
I hate those French stores.
Yeah.
I know.
And you
right?
can't even carry
I
your
heard
gun
that.
in there.
I haven't gone to the Walmart in like 5 years.
I don't go to
do
the Walmart in Lisbon if I don't have to.
Walmart.
That energy is like crazy.
I've had enough bad
Why?
experiences.
You don't have to look at it.
That's why. That's why I choose not to. I don't go there.
We're gonna teach her to talk into the microphone.
Oh, I don't. I'm sorry.
Because I want people to hear you.
I'm pretty loud though. I'm pretty loud.
She is very loud.
I'm a loud speaker. I didn't think so.
There you go. That's right there.
What
the
a-
guy in the green shirt.
Yeah.
See, that's me right there.
The one with the pointy
Elf.
hat.
Santa's coming. I
Oh,
won't do my
goodness.
impression.
Huh? I love Christmas. I don't care. It is commercialized.
Yeah.
It's way too commercialized. And you're right. Christmas things are out now.
Yeah, that's what
That's
we're,
what
that's
he's
what we're
saying,
saying.
like,
Yeah, it's
Can we
disgusting.
have Halloween first?
Yeah.
At least wait until after
Yeah,
Halloween.
you need your New Year's.
Don't care who knows it.
You get Buddy the Elf.
Please go back to the pit. I'll come visit you in a little while, okay?
See, go back to the pit. Get it, the pit.
This is the best part of the movie.
You're
Listen to this.
hilarious, my friend.
Call me Elf one more time.
Get back to this.
I could probably do all.
But see, that's why I don't find it
Does Santa know
commercialized.
that you left?
I find it
Because
these
of
are
the
memories
movie.
with my daughter.
Because of the movie Elf?
Did you have to borrow
No,
a reindeer?
You can hear it if you put your headphones on.
I can hear it without my headphones. I got it.
Jack, I get more action in a week than you've had your entire life. I've got houses in LA, Paris, and Vail. Each one of them with a 70-inch plasma screen.
He's an angry elf.
So I suggest you wipe that stupid smile off your face before I come over there and smack it off. You feeling strong, my friend? Call me Elf one more time.
He's an angry elf.
I love that movie. I really honestly do. It's one of my favorites. My daughter
God.
Chelsea loves it too. I know. So
Yeah.
so anyway, all right, let's do some psychic stuff. We've been yapping here.
I know, right? I predict Christmas will be coming this year.
Wow, that is
Please have Halloween first.
I predict Halloween will be
It's pretty
here
bold.
as well. I know.
Christmas will be canceled.
Well, I'm hoping that
Cancel culture.
kids can go out and trick or treat and stuff this year. So
What
that
if
would be
Christmas is offensive this year and they cancel it?
All right. So, all right, Laura.
Little
It
kids
will
sitting
be
on
to
Santa's
somebody.
lap.
All right, we got
Tell
a
me what you want for
Got a
Christmas.
question.
Yeah.
Got a question.
Sorry.
Right?
I'll wait.
Well, you talk about cancel culture. That should be like the next thing to go.
Is this a written question?
Can't call him Santa Claus because Santa means saint, and you
Yeah.
know that's a religious problem.
Well, you can't have little kids sitting on his lap and him asking them what they want for Christmas
Only with
while they're
permission?
sitting on their lap.
Yeah. Cancel.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we got a question on the board. Ready, kids? Here we go. Laura says, "Good morning, all.
Good morning, Laura.
May I please get a general reading?"
A general reading. I guess that's me, huh?
That's you.
All right. Let me make sure I'm talking loud enough for Mike.
No, not me. It's them.
I know. Just saying, I'm very loud. I hear it all the time. Okay. All right, Laura. Laura's worried a lot about what's going on. What we're talking about, cancel culture, whatever, whether it be political, religious, everything that's going on in the world. I feel a lot of just a lot of tension, a lot of stuff in her gut, a lot of feeling just a lot of worry. Just kind of what we said a little bit before. Just try to stay in your lane, be aware, but don't get sucked in. Try not to get so sucked into everything. You know, turn off the news, turn off the Facebook sometimes, get off of Instagram or Snapchat or whatever you might be on for a little bit.
No, but stay here though. Don't
Stay
turn
here
on
right
this
now.
Facebook.
Yeah, but you know, be careful with
Stay with us, Laura.
be careful with how much you're allowing yourself to get sucked in. And it could even be just personal stuff as well with family and things like that. Know where you can help out and know when you need to step back. Know when it's something that is going to be beneficial to the person and for yourself. Know when it's like, all right, you know what? I'm okay right now. Everything is okay right now in this moment. Okay. Anxiety lives in the future. Depression lives in the past. If you're thinking too much in the past, it's already done. You can't handle it. It's done. There's nothing you can do about it. Anxiety is in the future. It's not even here yet. Go right here, right now. If you have to take your 5 senses, see what can you feel right now? What can you hear right now? What can you smell right now? All that stuff. And then just kind of bring yourself into the present. I feel like you're somebody who looks for perfection. That's also why you get really worried, because if things don't go exactly the way that you want them to go, you're like, oh man, it kind of derails you. Not everything is going to be 100%. If you have a list of 100 things and you get 75 of them, be thankful and grateful for what you get. Look at the positive when you can. I know sometimes that's hard, especially with everything going on today. But again, a main message that I'm getting for you is you are okay right now. I know that you want to be a little happier. You want to be a little more social. I feel like maybe you're not socializing as much. You're not able to see the people that you want to be with and love as much, or whether it be friends or family, you're not able to see them as much as you would like to. Make some time, whether it be on a video call, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever it may be, or, have a social distance get together. If that's what you're worried about, go for it. I feel like sometimes you don't realize how powerful you are. you have all the resources necessary, but you focus too much on what do I do in the future. You want to just stay in the now and say, okay, you know, what's one thing that I am okay with right now? What can I do right now? If it's a phone call to check into something, if it's an email, if it's just saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to take a nap, go for it. You might wake up and you might have some better ideas. You might be refreshed. I feel rest is definitely something that you need a little more of. So just to calm yourself down a little bit, feel like you hold yourself back a lot. Self-limiting beliefs is a big thing, but you're working on it. I feel like you're working on it and you're aware of it and you're trying to get out of that really, really, really positive. If you're looking to get a new job, not right now, just hold off a little bit. If you have a job right now, great, stay there, even if it's not ideal. But for right now, don't change thinking the grass is greener, because it's not necessarily greener. It's just going to be different grass. And I do feel if you are looking at becoming either a mother, then go for it. If you're already beyond that point and you're not going to become a mother, I feel like some sort of birth of a new business, a birth of a new idea, the birth of a new phase of your life. But there will be, I feel more towards, don't hold on to it too tightly. Time frames, especially with things nowadays, don't always, even your Amazon doesn't come on time. But I do feel there will be a birth of something probably by the end of next spring. So pre-summer of next year, I do feel the birth of a child or the birth of something new in your life is coming. So hopefully some of that resonates with you.
All right, Laura, what do you think? Or did you
You know, I
leave?
was yapping fast.
Yeah, Laura took off.
So do you breathe in between those?
She's
I
out.
do. I don't.
Laura took off. She said, "Peace out, bitches."
Don't call me that, because if you call me that, I will be one. I don't like that.
I was making a general
I know.
statement.
I don't like how that's a thing these days where people
No.
call each other those things. I think it's just, that shows how society is, that we don't even have respect for ourselves, that we call ourselves names like that. I'm like,
You know what I can't stand? I can't stand how, and it's basically, it happens mostly with young women. They take pictures with their middle finger up and their tongue out their mouth.
There's just a lot of that stuff that's not
All right, Laura says, "Thank you. A lot of things were spot on."
awesome.
All right. All right, here we go. Crystal says, "Good morning. May I have a general reading, please? It's my first one. I'm a little nervous."
Good morning,
I'm a little
Crystal.
teapot.
Don't be nervous. You've already heard some
All
of
right.
it. There's nothing that I'm going to do that would make you nervous. And you could say I'm all wrong and not even have to have any, retaliation. It's okay.
Repercussions from
Nothing to be nervous about.
Do you give refunds if it's not in? How does that work?
No, because
It depends on it.
Yeah.
Depends on the person.
Really?
I have offered in all the years I've been doing it. I've offered 2 times where it's like, I will give you your money back and they were like, oh no, because they were like, I want you to do it my way, and it's like, I can't read your way. I have to read my way.
Yeah, a lot of times with readings too, it's like you hear something and it doesn't really
It's not what you
resonate.
want to hear.
Well, not just that, but
It might not resonate with you at the
at the time. Okay, so Crystal was her name, correct?
Well, that's exactly what the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
Thanks, ladies. Okay.
Just trying to help you out, Mike.
We're just pushing it along a little. Okay, Crystal.
Can't forget, it's his house.
Sorry, Dad. Do as you say, not as you do. I forgot. All right, so. Okay, Crystal. So I do feel, so you are nervous. It's okay. Don't worry. I'm just me. I'm just like you. That's most of the time why I do these readings, is because I can probably relate to most of the things that people are going through, because I'm human just like you. I'm not any different. I do feel a lot of tension in your shoulders. You got a lot of responsibility that you're holding on to, a lot of stuff that you're trying to do. Some of it's yours, some of it is not yours. I tend to use the analogy of the little kid in school with his backpack on. He's walking down the hallway and everybody's throwing their books into his backpack saying, do my homework, do my homework, do my homework. And by the end of the day, he's like so weighed down. Make sure that you're taking care of your homework and you're not taking on a lot of other people's work, because it's not yours to take care of. It's okay to be helpful, similar to what we were talking about with Laura, is do not take on more than belongs to you, and keep yourself in your space, and then be helpful once you are all set with your stuff. It's not selfish, it's self-care. You got to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. I also feel just in your back of back of your neck, lower like head. I would definitely, if you're a dairy eater, wipe it out. Get rid of dairy. It's very mucus forming. It's extremely causing a lot of phlegm, causing a lot of mucus, causing Rich to sneeze. Got all this stuff going on. I feel like, milk, butter, cheeses, ice creams, just watch yourself with that. I would suggest take 7 days and just do no dairy. On the 8th day, go ahead and have some and see how it affects you. And you'll see that your nose will start running, you get phlegm in your throat, things like that. I feel like it's building up in you a little too much. And then with your added responsibilities, that's probably something that you're just very, very tense. I would definitely think about self-care if you're able to. Massage is great. Reiki is great. Anything like that. If you need to get something, just take a little relaxing shower or bath. Take 5 extra minutes in the shower. Just say, I'm just going to stand here and let the water just rinse everything off of me if you need to do that. I do feel like you might be feeling like either you are lonely or you want to be alone. And I feel like it vacillates back and forth, that sometimes you're like, I need my alone time. I need my space. And other times it's like, gosh, I really feel kind of lonely. It's okay. Either way, you don't stay there. You don't live in one. Sometimes it does feel lonely. Everybody's feeling that at sometimes now. And then the needing your space, that's also okay. You want to make sure. I also feel like you want to speak up for yourself a little bit more. I feel like sometimes you're afraid of being the bee that we just talked about a couple minutes ago, that you don't want to be harsh. You don't want to be seen as that. So it's like, I feel like you want to be able to have people take you more seriously. You want to put your foot down at times. But sometimes you have a hard time with that. I also feel like you want to get into processing your emotions better. I feel like sometimes you stuff your emotions down a little too much because either you feel like you're not allowed to feel that way, whatever it is. Definitely feels like it's a childhood thing that maybe when you were younger, hey, stop crying, or don't be angry. You're not supposed to yell, which is also the standing up for yourself. You weren't supposed to be angry. You weren't supposed to yell. You weren't supposed to speak your mind. That might be coming up now, where it feels like you are just kind of wanting to do a little bit better at expressing your emotions, expressing your feelings. Definitely something to work on. It would be really, really good for you to do that. I also feel like if you are trying to make a decision about people, romantic or otherwise, it feels like people don't make any decisions without thinking it through very logically and intuitively. Use both sides. Use your logic, use your intuition. Do not be impulsive. Think about the consequences of any of your choices and actions. Moving forward, I definitely feel that similar to what I said for the last person, probably end of spring, beginning of summer, I do feel like you're going to be feeling really good. Emotionally, you're going to be doing a lot better. I feel like you're going to be having more fun in your life. The winter months might be a little difficult for you. You might feel a little down. It's all right. Just get through. Find the bright light in any day that you can. Find the silver lining. You're going to be okay. And you're going to be even better when you get through when the next season comes around. So, okay. Thank you for letting me read. And I hope that makes sense.
Any feedback, Crystal? See if,
walk into
Crystal,
the light.
Walk into the light. I see dead people. Yeah, that's Lisa.
Lisa sees the dead.
So now that Lisa, she's a medium. So if anybody has any questions about trying to connect with somebody from the other side, Lisa, can you tell us basically what it is you do?
I talk to dead people.
There you go.
It's funny because I was at my daughter's yesterday because I babysit the boys, the twin boys, and she has a lot of spirit activity in her house. It was like really bad. Like I could hear them walking. It was driving me nuts because I thought someone was coming in her back door. I'd go and look and there'd be nobody there. Like I literally heard walking in her house, and it's just me and the two boys and her dog who was snoring on the chair. So it wasn't him. Yeah, so something was about yesterday with the energy and stuff like that. There was a lot of.
It's funny when my son was younger, he was in a closet and he said, "Dad, look at that guy up there."
Oh yeah, kids are very, very,
he was very young, like 2 years old.
Yeah, kids are very intuitive and
they
stuff.
haven't been shut down by us yet.
Exactly. they're not taught they were taught not to believe in the guy in the closet. I'm sure you told them there's no guy in the closet, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I'm surprised.
No,
yeah, because most parents would be like, "There's no one underneath your bed. There's no one in the closet. There's no one in the corner."
No, I
of your
gave
room.
him the knife to put under his bed.
Okay, well,
my daughter used to.
Hey, stab a ghost for Christ's right now.
Yeah, exactly. My daughter would say,
Take
that.
that.
I taught her to be
I
okay with
missed.
it, but don't
No,
tell your
I didn't.
friends that you see all these people.
Right? Don't
They
tell
might
your
come
friends.
over.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, back in the day, like they would commit you if you said that you seen those that have passed the state hospital.
They tie you to a stake and burn you in this, right?
No,
Same.
that's witchcraft. That's totally
But
different.
then they look at them at the same way and everything like that?
No. No.
They weren't the
I
same
think
back then?
so.
No.
Witchcraft is a
And 52 years prior to Salem even happening, Connecticut had the biggest witch trials in New England, but
Up
people
northeast
don't
of here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Haven area, Bristol, all down there, Berlin. Yeah.
Didn't they say Voluntown had one?
That's vampires.
Those are vampires?
Yeah,
Okay.
those are vampires.
We're the vampire capital of New England.
I didn't know Voluntown was part of that.
Yeah.
though. Yeah. I knew they had some plague where the town went and
Yep.
killed the people in the house or something.
All the witch trials that happen here happen down like Bridgeport, New Haven, all down the water because they actually put you like dunked you into the ocean down there.
In the
So
cage,
yeah. And that was
you
52
drowned, you were
years.
innocent, and if
Yeah,
you
exactly.
floated, you were a witch and you got killed.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lose-lose. So,
Yeah.
Yep. And it was all about land because people wanted the pagans' land, like the settlers, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the whole thing of witch came in because they were dressed like poorly. They didn't have the fancy stuff, so they were deemed
They went
witches.
to Walmart.
Yeah, they went to Walmart. They didn't go to Target or Kohl's. They
All
went
right.
to Walmart.
I have a question, and this is just, and I just want the first thing there. I'm going to give you three choices, and just give me the first one that comes to mind. You think is the best option? Okay. Doge, Shiba Inu, or Scale.
Well, I don't even know what any of those are. How can I pick one if I don't even know what
They're
you're saying?
all three of them are cryptocurrency.
See, again, he already knows my opinion on that. I don't get anything
No,
from that.
I don't. I don't even know what any of those are to make a
Electronic or internet money or whatever it's called.
Oh.
Yeah, they're called cryptocurrency. It's like Bitcoin. I'm sure you probably heard of Bitcoin.
I've heard of that,
Yeah.
but again,
And,
doesn't make me as happy as
Did you know the
Christmas, so I don't care.
electromagnetic field of the Earth is actually in chaos right now? And they said it could actually cause satellites to malfunction.
Oh.
Remember my big thing about
Yeah.
satellites happening?
What's going
Oh, yeah.
crazy?
The electromagnetic
5G
stuff in the world,
Oh.
the Earth. It's like off kilter, like it's like experiencing something weird that they are not too sure about. And they said the worst thing that can happen is it could cause satellites to malfunction.
Where are they measuring that at?
I don't know. It was on the thing I was reading. I could pull it up.
Didn't know if they had a meter somewhere. That
Well, it's funny because we have had like what do you call it?
seismic activity.
Yeah, trucks driving all around here like crazy. I was taking pictures of them up in Plainfield and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, and that's my big thing. It takes one satellite to go out, and that's it.
But isn't there like hundreds and hundreds of them?
But if you take one that throws it off kilter, smashes into another one,
Oh,
you see what I'm saying? It's like a domino effect.
Okay.
Then I'll land on your house.
Yeah.
Here's a crazy lady. Kathy Wasilick says that explains why I feel crazy lately.
Yeah. The electromagnetic pull is like really
Any
off.
any comment there, Chris?
Yes.
It's his wife.
Yeah, but I mean, she could be feeling it like a lot of people are. The energy, like in general, is like really crazy. And I was reading
so
up on
any
it.
dead people around me?
There's dead people around everybody.
They're all over the
Did I kill them?
Well, then you should be in
I
freaking
was
jail.
gonna say you wanted to tell you
Well,
that because then
Technically, should he be in jail or was it like a have to thing?
Well, the judge said I had to.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
see.
So who's around Rich right
Yeah,
now?
who's around me?
All right. So the first person that I get that steps in is there is a gentleman. He's kind of plump. He look. It's kind of.
I'm right here.
No,
Oh.
it's kind of funny
Okay,
because
I thought she said plump.
yeah.
like
Okay,
a plumper.
pleasantly plump or
Well, yeah, if you want to plump.
okay.
I hate to say it, but the energy that I get from this gentleman is kind of like very happy-go-lucky, giddy, Santa Clausy energy. No, he's older than you, Mike. So it's yeah, older than you.
You don't know how old I am.
But I also see like I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but I'm assuming is what a tuna would look like. Like he caught like a giant tuna. Like he's displaying it. So I don't know if it's like something he has on a wall, hanging on a wall, or it could be like a swordfish. I don't know the difference. That's just a giant fish.
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, he's proud of this fish. So, but Santa Clausy energy kind of looks like Santa Claus too, like a grayish, whitish colored beard.
Your mother's father passed? Your maternal grandfather passed?
Well, I'm adopted. So.
Okay.
Not maternal. I don't.
Well, your mom.
Paternal. I don't.
So then you wouldn't even know.
That's what I'm trying to keep people together.
Your mom that you
he was miserable.
I see an elf around you, and he's dressed.
Do you see the same type of energy? Like
no, but I get your grandfather on your mother's side, but I don't know about.
He's dead and he was miserable.
Okay, but I'm not saying it's the same guy. I'm just.
But he loved the fish.
I'm telling you. No, I'm not saying it's.
Did he like the fish?
I'm just saying.
So did he have like a giant, like
maybe a
tuna
marlin
or
something?
Could be
Well, I don't know. We weren't allowed
like
in his trailer in Maine, so we only went up there once when I was little.
Oh,
but
Most children were not allowed in that trailer. I understand.
For me, when anybody comes through, it's like it doesn't matter if you knew or you saw. Like, there's evidential stuff that to tell you, but then it's like, why are they coming through? Because some people say, "Well, I didn't even know them. That's my great great grandma." It's like fine, but I feel that
why are they around?
They're
here?
coming through because, and I feel like the fishing thing is because it's like he enjoyed that. He was happy when he was fishing, even if you're saying, oh, he was miserable and whatever towards whatever.
Gotcha.
So find what you love, and it's going along with all this conversation.
Go with it. Yep.
Go with what you love. That what makes you happy.
Mhm.
If Christmas doesn't make you happy, celebrate Halloween for longer. If Walmart doesn't make you happy, then go over to JCPenney. If whatever doesn't make you happy,
I hate shopping.
If
There's a picture of this fish.
If shopping doesn't make you happy, then sit at home and do nothing.
But there is a picture of this fish.
Okay.
Somewhere. So and it could be a marlin. Did marlins look like? Are they giant like tunas?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know about big. Not big like a tuna, but they're big size, right?
Yeah.
I saw one on TV last night.
They're bigger than that. They're bigger than that. They're like 6 feet long.
Well, the ones I saw, they were like this. But,
Well, and a fish too, as far as Lisa's the one getting it. So what would a fish what would a fish represent to you?
The fact that I'm being shown as it's mounted, it's something that he was proud of.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
and what would a fish represent to you?
Dinner.
Does dinner make you happy? Does food make you happy?
He used to.
Why doesn't it anymore?
I'm not allowed to eat a lot.
You're not allowed? According to who?
A trainer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you choose to
choose not to eat.
Well, I choose to abide.
Because you always have a choice.
I choose to abide.
Which also goes back to what we were talking about. See how everything connects?
Yeah.
All right, another question up on the board. This is probably going to be for you, Heather, as well.
Okay.
Okay, I've had this is Sherry, by the way. So I've had a restless feeling lately, like there's change in the air. Also, like I'm quote unquote not alone, like there's someone around me. Any thoughts?
But yeah, you always have, there's always people around you, just like Lisa just was saying. I mean, we walk through this world seeing what we see as far as flesh and bone and meat suits, but there's plenty
I like that meat suits. Supernatural.
It's just a meat suit. So, but you always have people around you, and you know what? You can ask. That's the thing is, don't be afraid to ask. So if there's somebody around you, just say, hey.
Your spirit is inside a flesh and bone.
Once
it's a
this
meat
is
suit.
gone, once this is gone, your soul
you're still around. Yeah,
is alive. But I was gonna say, and her name was again
Sherry. I wish some people would call, especially when you're asking about people around you and stuff like that. Can you not? I know you, Heather. You said that you don't really read that way.
No, I do, but it's not my main way. But I feel like it's a father figure to her. So I mean, that's just what I'm feeling. But you can also ask. It was Sherry. Sherry. So, you can ask if you feel, whether it's like, oh, when you're in your house or in your car, or just, ask, say, okay, who is this? And do yes, no. You can even, if you're in bed at night, and it doesn't have to be, don't be scared of it. It's not scary. It's not something that you have to make where it's like, oh, I'm creeped out. Somebody's here. You can just say, okay, give me a knock for a yes, give me silence for no, and ask a whole bunch of yes, no questions see how you feel, because you can always feel in your gut, in your heart and everything too. But I do feel like it possibly is a father figure. I'm not necessarily feeling like it's your father, but somebody who may have also been like a father to you. That's what I'm feeling. So
You can ask the questions and write the first thing that comes down too with a pen and
anything.
paper.
Say, what's your
So-
name? And go with it. Whatever. If it's Jeremy, okay, it's Jeremy. Because even if that person's name was Susie, if you know them as Jeremy, they're going to try and communicate with you because that's all they want. They just want to communicate with you. They want you to have that connection with them. So even if you're literally wrong, I think it was Sylvia. Do you remember Sylvia Brown?
Yeah.
She used to call her guide Francine, and I read one of her books, and her guide's name was not really Francine, but that's what she went by because that's how they connected. I don't remember really what her guide's name was, but I feel like it is more of you're saying you're uneasy. Was that what she said? She said she has an uneasy feeling or something lately.
Restless.
Yeah, restless.
feeling.
Restless because I feel like you're trying to figure out what you can do that'll make you happy. You're not really sure what makes you happy right now, whether this be with work or crafts or just some sort of skills in general, whether it be a hobby. But I feel like you're like trying to say, well, what makes me happy? I feel a lot of people, especially now over the past year and a half, 2 years, whatever, with all this stuff that's going on, a lot of people are just not happy anymore because they've lost what we thought made us happy: going to the movies, going out to eat, visiting our friends, different things like that, concerts and whatnot. Things are starting to come back, but it's just not the same. So I feel like you're trying to figure out what would make you happy. I feel like you are definitely somebody who, when you commit to something, go for it. When you commit wholeheartedly, you are somebody who is loyal. So whether that be committing to yourself, like a workout routine, an eating, regimen, something like that. If you're committed to another person romantically or friendship, really, really, really good for you. I do feel too that sometimes you let other people, especially maybe males or a particular male, whether this be a husband or a boss or something, kind of impose his beliefs on you, or impose his way, like my way or the highway, or like Mike said, oh, this is my house, something like that. I feel, that's not really in your best interest, and know when you need to draw those lines or know when you need to kind of separate. I do feel like that intuitive part of you that we were just talking about connecting with who's around you, because you came into this incarnation with a whole team. You have guides, you have angels, you have loved ones, you have doctors, healers, teachers, surgeons, you have natives with you, you have all kinds of people with you that you come into, and then they add, when people pass and different things, they come. So you have a bunch with you. And I feel that over the next few months, especially over the winter months, when you have a little more downtime or when it's darker earlier, and so you're in your home and things are maybe a little quieter, either early mornings or late at night, go ahead and practice. Like Lisa said, ask questions, and whatever comes to your mind, write it down and go with it. And don't doubt it. Just go with what you feel, go with your gut. So I definitely feel like you're going to develop a little bit more. Watch some videos, get some books, pay attention to, there's a really, really cool documentary. I believe it's still on Netflix. It's called Surviving Death. I think it's only like 6 episodes long, but each episode is about something different. I think the first one is about near-death experiences. The next one is about mediums. I think the next one is like signs and symbols. But
I watched that, but I thought it was really overly produced.
I know some of the people in that. It's
Yeah.
not. I don't think so. I
You
know
think
like
so?
Rebecca, who owns the Beyond Center in Vernon or something.
Okay.
I know she was in it, and I know people from
No.
the
I don't mean the
UK.
people. I don't mean the people
but
themselves.
but it's real. I
Yeah.
think it's very, very, very true to what it is, and very realistic from experiences I've had, especially all that physical mediumship.
Yeah.
If you can go and be part of a physical medium seance, seeing ectoplasm, touching it,
Or the dime falling in front of the customer at the
exactly.
shop.
Yeah, apports, things like that. It's like, that's
I'm
really,
not the
really
guy that's
cool.
going to sit
So-
here and say it's not real. I'm talking about just the show itself from a production value.
Like they drew it out too long.
I think so. Yeah. And to me, it seemed like almost like if you were on the fence of believing in paranormal.
Did you watch all the
or-
episodes?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that guy, he was like, I want to know this particular thing. And then he wasn't convinced because he got all this information, but not that one thing. So
Yeah.
I think it showed very well. I mean, I don't know that
Yeah,
it's
that's
your
okay,
opinion,
yeah.
so that's okay. But I feel like it was very true to, I've never had near-death experience, so I can't speak for that particular episode of it. But all the other ones, as far as mediumship, physical mediumship, signs and symbols. all
I did
those things.
something. Lisa and I have talked about it a few times.
Yep.
Well,
I don't know.
and how it was that share? How
She hasn't
did that
commented.
resonate with Sherry at all?
She hasn't
I
commented.
just want to thank her for letting me read.
77, he says. He was 77. So I don't know if that goes to her or to you, the guy that's around you. I just heard that. Is it?
I don't
to
know.
him?
I feel more.
Yeah. He was 77.
I don't feel
Oh,
that
really?
Sherry's person around her
So-
was that old. I feel he was a little younger, maybe 50s, early 60s, late 50s, early 60s.
You talking about like the father figure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Carol wants to know: do you feel haunted places in Jewett City? There are so many old buildings and areas.
Every place
What is her definition of haunted? Because I feel like that always makes people think scary.
Yeah.
But I feel like what we just said, that there's spirit is all around us in general, you know?
Whether they react or not to us is a different story, is it not?
Whether they react? What do you mean?
Well, for example, we don't always know
Like
that
if we
they're
hear them-
there.
Oh,
They're not
you know?
making themselves known all the time.
Right. I feel like,
Or if they do, we don't realize it.
but I feel like a good example is most people have seen the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. Well, when he couldn't push the penny and he couldn't flick the can, and it's like, I feel like they're not dogs jumping through hoops. Just like you're gonna say, my house, my rules, blah blah blah. You're gonna be that same personality on the other side,
And it takes a
and you're
lot
gonna be
of
like, don't
energy.
tell me what to do. I'll do it when I'm ready. And then so like I think I had said it last time, is like, if I'm not an accountant and good with money in this when I'm here, when I pass, don't ask me for financial help
Advice.
because I'm not gonna
you're
be.
not gonna
I'm
able
gonna
to
still
do
be
that.
me
Yeah.
and go, I don't know, go turn on the Red Sox and see how they're doing, and then don't bet on the game. I guess I don't know, but as far as what's haunted to her, because haunted gives it gives a very negative connotation and a very scary, Hollywoodized.
So to answer your question, Carol says spirits residing in areas.
They're everywhere.
Okay.
They're all over. Yeah.
And Sherry says, thank you, ladies. I'm really not sure who the father figure would be, but
that's okay.
I'll think of that. I'll think on that.
That's fine. Okay, good.
Okay. I'm going to throw a name at you, Sherry, and you're going to know what I'm talking about. This is just somebody. I'm just going to say Scott, because that would actually make sense to, around the age that you threw out there. So, and I know this person, so.
Well, I assumed so.
Yeah.
Kind of got that.
Now, the person we were talking about, has he passed on, or is...
I feel that
Oh,
he
okay,
has,
all right.
yeah.
So then not Scott. Scott's not dead.
I mean, not necessarily. I do tap into people who are here too, so I can't always say that. But that's who I was picking up on more of when she said if she felt somebody around her.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I felt. So if Scott hangs around a lot and he's still living, well, then it might be somebody connected with Scott that is also just hanging around her. But I mean, I'm not a somebody
Three-way
who,
radio.
Well, no, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
no,
I'm not
yeah.
somebody who is, when they come through, I always can connect with people who are here or not, and it's just because there's a reason
Right.
behind it. So if she's feeling it, it's like maybe have a discussion with Scott if you feel that it's him, like, hey, what's he going through right now? He might need somebody to talk to. He might be feeling uneasy. You might even be picking up on his particular energy saying that, right? It was uneasy, she was saying she was feeling. So
Yes.
I would have a conversation with Scott and just see, how he's feeling in general.
Because it could be also a guide that's around her at the time.
Yeah, we have a lot of guides.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have joy. If you feel like it's a child, that's a joy guide. If you feel like it, a father figure, it could be just somebody, a very protective guide.
Yeah.
We have all kinds of. You have a whole team with you.
For example, like I've tried, to do like the whole spirit guide contact, different types of exercises or whatever, and I come up with something. It's pretty much the same thing, every single time, and I don't know if that's just my subconscious doing this or what you're shaking your head. No.
Subconsciously, our conscious mind's our rational mind. That's the one that makes us think about things and see things. Anything that you want to know, like from the spirit side of things, I say always comes from the subconscious. That's why it's a lot easier for people to communicate with those that have passed through dreams and stuff like that. So, like if I ask you a question, male or female, what's the first thing that comes to your head without thinking?
What, male or female?
Male or female.
Male.
So that tells me like one of your guides that are around you is a male, because it's the first thing that pops into your head and you don't second guess it.
And when you say you've done different ways,
But I even gotten a name.
well, then there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I
because-
said,
yeah.
even if it's wrong,
Yeah.
go with that because that will be their connection to you.
Right.
Like my one of my main guides that's around me all the time, I call him George and his name is Roberto. but I call him George.
See? Yeah.
Well, I mean, like for example, there was this one lady that I read. Her name is Judy, and she asked me. We were trying to contact her spirit guide, and I came up with a name, which is very much the same thing. And I think it was Alan or something like that. And she had a reading when she actually moved back to Minnesota, where she lives, and she had a spirit guide reading and said, I don't know. Some guy's calling me Alan, but my name's John.
Yep.
You know,
I mean, it happens.
And there's nothing, they don't get offended. They're like, oh, good.
Yeah.
We have a connection now.
And the only reason why I call mine
right.
George is because, George with the, the monster. Oh, I'm going to name you George.
I'm gonna pet him and love him and hug him.
Exactly.
So the way that I look at it is say you're in an apartment complex. Say you're in an
No, you don't remember
apartment
George
complex.
You remember that? But George, I want a bunny rabbit of my very own.
It was
You
from
ever-
Of Mice and Men is the book.
Oh, yes.
I'm not that much older
Of
than
Mice
you.
and Men. Okay.
Yeah. So, but like I liken it to if you're in an apartment complex and you have something to tell somebody, whether it's like, hey, I just want you to know that my mom is going to be okay, or I just want you to know, everything's going to work out, or hey, don't take that job. And you're knocking on the door, nobody answers. Knocking on the door, nobody answers. Knocking on the door, you answer. Guess what? Hey. Oh, I don't care. As long as you can call me Alan, as long as that door's open, I'm going to keep giving you the information. So even if the name is wrong, they're just happy that you opened the door. That's how I look at it anyway.
All right, ladies, thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
coming
Thank
today. And we hopefully will see you once again next week.
Thank you very much for having
On
me.
Thursday. Lisa, you didn't say squat today.
She did too. I have a little emotional stuff going on too.
Yeah, well, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
It's probably a good thing. You okay?
Yeah.
All right. Tina, get well, will you?
Yes,
Jesus
Tina,
Christ.
get well.
Get well. Stop being sick.
I'm beating her ass. I'm just throwing that out there. I'll sell
After
tickets.
her surgery.
Yeah.
All right, tomorrow is Friday. It's Ask Chris Anything. We will see you tomorrow right here on SNSN. Bye.
Hello, I'm Miranda Mahoney, Project Coordinator of Griswold Pride, your drug-free community coalition. We want to help you keep your kids safe during this challenging time. Social distancing is still in effect, and so is the social host law. Reports are coming in that teens are contracting the virus at underage drinking parties. Parents, allowing underage drinking on your property could land you in jail for up to a year, plus fines. Another reason why you should not provide alcohol to our youth. For more info, go to griswoldpride.org. griswoldpride.org. griswoldpride.org.
Life is full of choices. At Jewett City Savings Bank, we can make one choice easy, finding the right checking account. We offer a range of affordable accounts to fit your budget and needs, and each gives you the freedom to access your money the way you want, online, through our mobile app, or with your debit card. It's your money and your choice. To learn more about the account that's right for you, stop by one of our offices or visit us at jcsbank.com. Jewett City Savings Bank, member FDIC.
Family owned and operated. That's something you don't hear too often anymore. Highway Campers of Plainfield is now 3 generations in and going strong. If you're looking to upgrade or get your first RV, contact the